My name is Barrett Stover. I'm the owner of RSP. Today we're here with Sam Broderson again, looking at phase 2 of his off-season progression. All right, for phase 2 for Sam, we have a range of motion strength program. We're also going to be introducing sprinting, moving a little faster there, which you see what's going on right now. But the goal behind the range of motion strength is to really work those in ranges and do it at a time where we can afford the soreness and kind of it's just hard. So the training economy is still going primarily to the lifting section of it. We just started back throwing, so a lot of the days are between 60 to 120 feet. It's not very taxing on the arm. So we're going those in ranges of motion, working that area big time right now. And then we'll also do some extra shoulder and forearm stuff as well. So with these sprints that we're introducing right now, we're going resisted sprints and some light flying sprints. So the volume is going to be very low. He's doing very little that is going to be max speed right now. And what I mean by that is even with, obviously with the resisted sled push or the sprint, he's not really going to be opening it up right now. We're just getting him back into the groove of sprinting so that when we get ready to go as the off season progresses, we want to get faster and faster, but this way we build him up and we're not going from like doing a bunch of heavy lifting to running a lot of sprints and risking injury that way. The main focus with anything we do throughout this block is strength through range of motion. So we're going to have a huge focus on mobility here. I kind of tell the guys to think about it as like a weighted mobility set. And with that, we're going 8-7-6-5 with the main lift. So we have them elevated so we get a little extra range of motion for the reverse lunge here. It's mandatory, he touches his knee to the ground every time, and then we're exploding back up as much as possible. We'll also introduce some plyometrics in this, so it's a little bit more of a complex set, and then some type of hip or shoulder mobility at the end. So that'll be the set for the first 2 blocks, and then the last block will be something that's moving in three planes of motion. So we finish up the reverse lunges, goes over. We got single leg box jumps next. We're gonna do 3 or 4 in each leg here. So lower volume, but again, just to get the explosiveness coming back to him and really work off of one leg to start for the plyometrics in this block. With his 90-90 hip lift to internal rotation, we're gonna be in that traditional 90-90 position. We're really working on moving the ball of the femur and the hip socket here. So we want the rest of his body to stay relatively still. We're gonna lift the foot and knee up at the same time, rotate up into ER and then back into IR as we go down. We wanna control the whole range of motion, keeping the hip and the upper body as still as possible. Crossover step down, we're gonna have it in goblet position, just kind of keeps our posture a little bit better. The cue that I use here is pretend there's an egg on the floor. We wanna touch the egg. We do not wanna crack the egg. So we're going slowly, tapping our foot, coming back up. It forces us to get an internal rotation, deduction with the hip and the leg there, and control it as we're going through that range of motion. Obviously, the lower the box, the easier it is, the higher the box, the harder it is. So we want to find something in the middle where he can control the range of motion, but also get back up off the floor and not get stuck at the bottom. Here we're really working the serratus. The serratus is going to help you upwardly rotate and protract the shoulder blade around the rib cage. Obviously very important as we're throwing a baseball. So we're going to the height in which we feel like we're about to shrug. Elbows are in, hands are pushing out. That's why we have the band around the hands. And we're rounding out the upper back so that the scapula can slide better on the rib cage. Think of it as kind of like a closed chain mobility drill. Triplane lunges here, light dumbbells. Again, really focusing on the range of motion. So we see it when we go out to like 2 o'clock, it's like we're on a clock where we go 12, 2, 3, and 4. So as he goes out to the lateral lunges, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, we want to keep that front leg straight. So we're getting a big stretch to the adductor. And then we're gonna roll through that, again, using light enough weight where we can really push the range of motion and get kind of that weighted mobility training effect. Hey, man, you want to take it on the brakes? Our last one for today is a dumbbell Jefferson curl. So we're gonna be rolling down as far as we can through the spine. We wanna get as round as possible. Sam does a really good job of going vertebrae by vertebrae on the way down and up. So we're working here, each one bending from each different spot, and then same thing on the way back, going the same way. So we actually want the opposite of what we want from RDL, where we're here and up. We want to round from the get-go. Just really working spinal flexion extension here. Spinal hygiene is a big word now, a phrase that people like to use, and it's something where we're just trying to get that mobility in every aspect of the body we can. And obviously for flexion, extension, and pitchers, when we get in that landing position, we're gonna be really extended, and then as we throw, we're gonna get really flexed. So again, just as we can work those in ranges of motion, then the better chance we have of peaking your performance and avoiding injury. So like we talked about a few times, this month's all about that in range of motion, hanging out there, spending as much time there, adding as much weight to those movements as possible, so that we prepare the body for the kind of the extreme demands that we face when we're throwing a baseball or playing sports. So we'll start moving into a heavier phase next month, but as we transition from the 1x20s over here, we're gonna really hammer the in range. It's a great time to do it this time of year because we can be really sore, we can put more time into the training economy and not worry about the throwing as much. But as throwing ramps up, we're gonna spend less time in here and more time on that. And we don't want guys to be really sore or their body's kind of aching just from the training that goes on. So that'll be something that trains as well as the overall volume will decrease as the off season goes on. So I hope you guys are enjoying this look. We'll have a different video up each month that outlines our minor league pitchers programs and what we're doing with them. So if you want to see more or have specific questions, please subscribe and leave a comment and we'll get back to your questions.